In 1859, Charles Darwin wrote his book about evolution, and it changed the way we see the world. Evolution is still a very controversial subject in many places in the world. This is because it gives a different explanation to why we're here than the one given by religion. We won't talk about that today because we don't want any arguments. We'll just talk about the science behind evolution, how evolution works. As we know, we all have DNA inside us. Each cell in our body carries a copy of our DNA. This DNA tells the body how to make us. It's our body's instructions. Each part of our DNA is called a gene, and each gene has the instructions for each small part of our body. For example, there are genes for eye colour, skin colour, the type of blood you have, and so on. Every animal and plant is the same. Every part of them comes from the instructions in their DNA. How they look, how they behave, everything about them comes from their DNA. Evolution happens when there is a change in this DNA. This change is called a mutation. This is a random change in the DNA of the animal or plant. A mutation can happen for a couple of different reasons. The most common happens when DNA is copied. When animals and plants have sex and make a new animal or plant, they need to copy their DNA and join it together. When cells in our body divide into two parts, their DNA has to be copied. Most of the time this is very accurate, but very occasionally, very rarely, there's a small mistake. This mistake means a change in the DNA, and this is called a mutation. When this mutation is passed on to the new animal or plant, they will have different DNA to their mother or father. This different DNA means that they will look different and act different in some way. What way they're different depends on where in the DNA the mutation happened. Let's say, for example, it happened in the gene for skin colour. This means the animal would have different skin colour to its parents. It could be lighter, darker, or a different colour completely, depending on what exactly the mutation was. This is the first part of the science of evolution. The fact that most of the time, DNA is passed accurately from parents to children, but very occasionally there's a mutation. This mutation creates something new. A lot of the time, mutations are bad. The bodies of plants and animals are extremely complex, so changing anything can cause big problems. For example, there might be a mutation in the DNA for the eye, and it might cause the new animal to be blind. However, while a lot of mutations are bad, a very small number are good. They make the animal better than its parents, stronger, faster, more intelligent. In the example we used above, we said there might be a mutation in the gene for skin colour. This could make the animal better in many ways. It could give the animal camouflage, help it hide and not be eaten. In humans, people who live near the equator have evolved darker skin to protect them from the sun. People who live further north and south have evolved lighter skin to help them get more sunlight. Whatever the mutation is, if it's helpful to the animal or plant, if it gives them a better chance of survival than the others, the new gene will be passed on again. Life out in the wild, out in nature, is extremely difficult. More animals and plants are born than can possibly survive. This means that there is a struggle for life. There is competition in the natural world. Competition for food and competition not to be food yourself. This competition is called natural selection. This means that only a small number of animals and plants pass their DNA on to the next generation. If there's new DNA, if a new gene is created and it gives the animal an advantage, this gene will spread. Over time, the animals with the new gene will do better than the animals without it. This will happen for many, many years until finally all the animals have the new gene. This is evolution. Over time, evolution makes animals better adapted to their environment. There is no goal, no aim. The animals don't try to evolve. It's just a process. Mutations happen in DNA, and if this mutation helps the animal, it will pass on this new DNA more often than other animals. People say evolution is random, but this isn't really true. The original mutation is random, but after that it's the opposite of random. Only the best animals will pass on their DNA, and this is natural selection. Over many millions of years of this happening, animals will slowly change, and this is called evolution.